is Jamie from Creations Misfit, and today I'm going to show you how to make this really easy beanie, and it's a little bit slouchy too. So this with this one I used this Ethereal Eyelash yarn from Yarn Bee, and I used almost the whole ball. It was 180 yards, and that's for an adult size hat. And we are going to use a 5.5 millimeter hook. And then you'll also need a sewing needle or yarn needle and a pair of scissors. So I just wanted to make a disclaimer really quick. I know I sound congested. I'm very sorry. I know it's annoying. I have really bad sinuses, and I noticed on a few of my videos recently, there have been a lot of nasty comments about listening to me. So I apologize in advance. I'm going to put all of the pattern notes on the screen, so if you'd like, you can just mute me or turn the volume off once we get going, and you'll be able to read everything on the screen. Okay, so to start off, we are going to do a slip knot, and I'm going to show you with different yarn because this Ethereal Eyelash is kind of hard to see because it's fuzzy. So I'm going to use this Soft Essentials Red Heart yarn, which is a oh, these are size 5 yarns also. You can use any size you'd like, but I'm using a size 5 for this. All right, so to start out, we are going to do a slip knot, and we're going to chain up. I'm going to chain up 39 for an adult size hat with a size 5 yarn. Now, you can do any size yarn you'd like. Just make sure it's about 11 inches long, your chain, and that's for an adult size. If you want to do a child size, maybe 29, 30 chains. I'm going to do 39 for my adult size hat, and I will do those off screen. Just start chaining, and then you can do yours, and we'll come back together at the end. Okay, I've done my 39 chains, and this is going to be the length of the hat. Now, it might look kind of long, but that's because we are going to work this hat flat. We're not going to work in the rounds. We work the hat flat, and then at the end, we're going to bunch this up at the top. So some of your 39 chain is going to be bunched at the top. So don't worry if it looks a little bit too long. But let me show you. I was going to show you with this yarn, but it's just kind of hard to see how dark it is. But this is what our hat's going to look like. We're going to work a flat piece, and then we're going to fold it over and cinch the top at the end. Okay? All right, so now we have our 39 chains, and we are going to half double crochet in the second chain from the hook. So do one half double crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then we're going to half double crochet in the next 29 chains. So it will be a total of 30 chains that we do our half double crochet. Okay, so you're just going to go all the way down and do 30 all together, half double crochets. And if you did a different number of chains, you're just going to half double crochet all the way down until you have 8 chains left. Okay, so everybody go ahead and do theirs off camera, or do theirs. I'm going to do mine off camera, and then I'll meet you right back. Okay, I did my 30 half double crochets, and now in the next chain, we're just going to do a single crochet, and then in the chain after that, we're going to do a single crochet, and you should have 6 chains left, and in those last 6, we're going to do all half doubles again. So just finish up half double crochet in each. And if you're doing the same amount that I did, you will have 38 stitches altogether. Okay, so that's what it should look like. You'll see just a little kink there where we did the 2 single crochets, and that will become more apparent the more we do. So from here, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Now this is round 2, and the whole hat's just going to be a repeat of rounds 2 and 3. So for round 2, we're going to do half double crochets in these first 6 stitches again, but we're going to do them in the back loop only. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar, there's 2 loops in each stitch. Here's the front, here's the back. So we're just going to, instead of going through both like a normal stitch, or instead of going through the front, we're just going to pick up the back loop only. And this leaves a nice ribbing. So make sure you get that very first stitch there. And we're just going to do a back loop half double crochet in the first 6 stitches. And then in the next 2, we're going to do single crochets. And we're not going to do back loop, just regular single crochets into the next. That's where we did our single crochets from the first round. And then in the last, however many you have, I have 30 left, we're going to do half double crochet in the back loop only again. So it's just really half double crochet in the back loop only all the way across, except for those 2 single crochets. All right, so I'll finish up my round 2. You can finish yours, and then we will meet back up. All right, I'm at the end of round 2. I just finished up my last half double crochet in the back loop. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And now this is round 3, and this will be the repeat. So we're just going to do the same thing across. We're going to half double crochet in the back loops of the first 30. And then we're going to single crochet, regular 2 single crochets, and then half double crochet in the back loop for the last 6. Okay, so it's the same thing as round 2, but I have to call it round 3 instead of a repeat because we're going back the other way. And the single crochets are in a different spot. So go ahead and do your 30 half double crochets, and I'll meet you back. Now I'm coming back up to where the single crochets are, and you'll be able to start seeing that, so you won't really have to count. I have 1 more half double crochet in the back loop, and then the next 2 will just be regular single crochets, and you'll see that those are starting to look a little bit different. And then you will half double crochet in the back loop of the next 6, or the last 6. I clipped my nail polish off. Whoops. And then that's it. That's the repeat. So you're going to, you can see here how the single crochets just bring it in, bunch it in a little bit. So from here, you're just going to do the same thing. Chain 1, turn your work, and then repeat round 2. Whoops. Sorry about that. Repeat round 2, which is the same thing. Half double crochets in the back loop only for 6, and then 2 single crochets, and then half double crochet in the back loop only for the remaining 30. Now we are going to do this, and because this is flat, like this is going to be the width for however many rows we do. Now I did about, with that ethereal yarn, the Ethereal Eyelash yarn that I did 44 rows of this, and that measured between 20 and 21 inches in length. So if you want to do an adult hat, I would do however many rows you want that measure about 20 to 21 inches in width. I'm sorry, not length. We already did the length here in the width. And that way you can use any kind of yarn you'd like. If you want to use a size 3 yarn, you'll probably end up with like 60 something rows. But as long as you measure it, you know, between 20 and 21 inches for an adult size hat, a kid size, it's hard to say, but you could just measure around their head, maybe like between 15 and 17 inches. Or if you want to use a size 6 yarn, you know, maybe you'll only have like 35 rows. So whatever, this is very, very versatile. You can use whatever size yarn, hook, anything you'd like. So the measurements would be for the length of the hat, you want about 11 inches for an adult, and between 20 and 21 inches for the width. So go ahead and do your rounds. I'm not going to finish with this because I am not using this yarn to make a hat. I already did this with the blue one. So I'm going to show you how to close it up with the blue once we get there. So go ahead and do as many rounds or as many rows as you'd like. Like I said, I did about 44, and I will meet back up with you to show you how to finish off the hat. Okay, so once you are done, you should have a flat piece that looks something like this, and you can see where the stitches go in, where we did the single crochets. My flat piece measures about 20 and a half inches long or wide. All right, so from here, don't tie off yet. What we're going to do is fold our piece in half. Okay, so this part is at the bottom here. The cinched part is at the bottom, and the top is open. And you have two options here. You can either, to close up the side, you can either do slip stitches all the way across, or you can take your yarn needle and just go back and forth across. So since I already have the yarn here, instead of cutting it and doing it with my yarn needle, I'm just going to do slip stitches across. So what you're going to do is just pick up both sides. You want to get both sides, and you're just going to go, you know what, actually, it'll be a little bit easier if let me just cut a long piece here. I'm just going to cut a long piece and thread my needle and do it that way instead. Now you might, depending on how many rows you did, you might end up down here where your yarn is down here, and that's fine too. It doesn't matter. You can, that actually probably would have been easier for me because we're going to cinch up the top too. But here, I'm going to just make a little knot there on the top. And then you're going to match up both sides. And I apologize, it's kind of hard to see with this yarn, but you're just going to go through the stitch on this side and then the stitch on this side and pull your yarn through. And you're going to do that all the way down. Now, if you miss a stitch or, you know, you're just a little bit off, it's okay. It's not going to make that big of a deal. Just, you can go into the same stitch twice if you have to, you know, to make it line up. But I'm just going to do this all the way down. Go through both stitches. This will close up the side. And then we will close up the top and we'll be done with the hat. Now, like I said, if your yarn ended up at the bottom and you're working your way up, then that's fine too. We're going to need a piece of yarn to go around the top, so no big deal. All right, so go ahead and finish yours and I'll meet you right back. All right, I'm at the end here. So I'm just going to go through the last one twice and just make a little knot at the end. And then I can sew that in a little bit. I'm just going to cut off a long piece and I'll sew that in when we're done. All right, so this is what it should be looking like. Kind of looks like a open-ended hat at this point, and we are going to close up the top. So if your yarn is down at the bottom like mine is and you need to tie off, if your yarn is up here, you can just leave it and you don't have to tie off or anything yet, but you can cut a long piece. Otherwise, we're going to have to cut a long piece to add on to the top here to close it off if your yarn was at the bottom like mine. All right, I don't know how long to cut. I always end up cutting too long, but that's okay. Maybe like 1.5 feet or something. And we are going to reattach our yarn to the top. Okay, so just choose any stitch at the top here to reattach your yarn. And just do a chain there to keep it secure. And then maybe chain and pull it all the way through. So it should be a knot, okay? And then we're going to thread our needle. I hope this doesn't sound too confusing. It's actually very easy. Usually I make a hat like this where we don't do the single crochets at the bottom, and you can just leave your yarn on, so it's a little bit easier, but this is easy too. All right, so to do the top, you could do it two different ways. I usually just go in and out, like I'll go through a stitch here and then come back through the next one or something close to it. It doesn't have to be every stitch. You're just going to go around, in and out. Or if you want, you can go through like the front loop of each stitch and then go through the front loop of the next one, go through the front loop of the next one, and that will make kind of like a round top. My top kind of looks bunchy like this from going in and out. So it's just your preference. You can go in and out through the stitches or pull up the front loop of each stitch around. And you're just going to keep doing that all the way around, and then we'll pull and it will bunch together. So I'm going to do a little bit off camera here so that you don't have to watch all of it, but I'll do a little bit here to show you how mine works up. So I'm just going to go in and out here, and make sure you're kind of at the top there. You don't want to go down too low because then it will just be too bunchy. So try to stay towards the top of the stitches here. You just go in and out. And you can see as you pull, it will start to bunch there. All right, so just go all the way around, and then I will meet you when we get back to the beginning where we started. All right, I'm back at the beginning, so I'm going to pull, and you should pull the top to where it scrunches up almost completely closed, if not completely closed. Okay, mine still has like a little bit of hole in there, and that's fine. Don't pull, pull hard, but don't pull too hard that it breaks. But, so from here, I'm just going to go back and forth over the top a little bit from one side to the other to close up that hole. And we're going to end up turning this inside out, so it's okay if this looks a little messy up here or a little bit too scrunched or something. I just make sure that everything is completely closed at the top. And you may want to put like a faux fur ball or a homemade pom-pom or something like that at the top too. For these hats, I don't do that, but it does look cute with one on there. So whatever you choose to do is fine. I hope this has been easy for you, and hopefully you've watched some of my other videos, and if not, you know, feel free to take a look. I have a lot of tutorials up. I have another hat video that I'm going to be working on today, so that should be up soon. And I have all kinds of stuff, and if there's anything you'd like to see, please leave that below as well. I'll try to work on it. But yeah, thank you for watching, and if you'd like to subscribe, I would be really grateful. And if you'd like to like the video, that would be really helpful as well. And if you could leave a comment, let me know who you're making this for, what yarn you used, what colors, how it turned out. If you have any questions, any kind comments, please feel free to leave them below. Any constructive criticism is greatly appreciated as well. So I appreciate you guys being here. All right, so that looks pretty good. I'm just going to do a knot to secure it. Also, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Creations Misfit. So if you do make this, if you'd like to show me, you can send a picture on there, tag me in it. I'd love to see your creation. All right, so I'm just going to do 2 knots here. Make sure it's really secure, and then you can cut that. And then just, this is our hat. You can leave it on this end if you'd like. Or you could turn it inside out since we sewed on that end. And then the other side kind of looks a little bit better. I have to sew this in, but it's the same on both sides, the hat part. So there we go. It has a nice little ribbing here. I usually put a tag on the bottom. I have to sew these in, but there you go. There's your hat. And I hope that it worked out for you. Like I said, please like, subscribe, and thank you so much for being here. Have a great day.